Welcome to another Sophie's Emporium short.
Since we were always so close, we chose to keep it that way. And it was so sad the day I had to grow up and leave her, and she had to go home to my parents' house to die. That's how deep this stuff goes. And my Graham always wanted me to live and to be okay. And she lives in me. Just like just like true spiritual beings, like the indigenous, or people like me that know that we're really just spiritual beings having a human experience. That's why I talk about it. And Val, all button up Vato, see, he goes both ways. Watch your mouth, but later on he's going to go into a ceremony and have a change of heart, isn't he? That always reminds me of the dude on his deathbed, Constantine. You know, as long as he accepts Jesus Christ as his personal savior before he takes his last breath, and somebody fucking gives him a blessing. Well, if he ate a kid 6 hours before, you see, that's forgiven because he accepted Jesus. Well, now we're to a whole other war, aren't we? And let's go ahead and talk about that on the ad. Everybody knows. Okay, well, let's go over it. We know at 12 years old, this young man walked into where the tax collectors were, and he started turning tables over. I mean, before he turned, he didn't just walk in and say, hey, blow me sideways and knock a table over. He was actually having a conversation the way that I believe it to be. So he's hanging out, talking to some people, and if he was anything like me, I always enjoyed speaking to intelligent people, and when I was young, well, 8 times out of 10 they were older than me, which means that I enjoyed talking to my mentors who were in an age of wisdom. That's why I always love rep. 14, 15, 16. Yeah. Let me talk to Mike Prang. Let me talk to Art Rep. You see what I'm saying? Let me talk to an adult that cares. But anyhow, I kind of forgot what I was talking about with all that talk. Oh, no, I didn't. So anyhow, Jesus is hanging, talking, hanging out, talking. And somebody got snippy. I don't know who. And probably he saw something that really just got on his last nerve. And he decided to turn that table over. Now that's 12 years old. And everybody that accepts this dude as their personal savior has no problem at all with not knowing a thing about when his soul came to the forefront during his teenage years. No way. I study life charting. Hey, what about at 21? When your spirit comes to the forefront and you're given some, hey, karma-free years where go out. The Green Knight says, go out. You got to play the game. And then you go out there and somebody tells you you're not playing the game. Yeah, that's probably about the time you get out of college and figure out you got lied to. Now, in the meantime, my brother, Jesus, he was traveling different places across the globe. He was hanging out with the Essenes. What about the Gnostics, you say? Well, there was different groups of them too. And since he wasn't prejudicing nobody, and he didn't look at, what color you were, or whose bitch you were, well, he could read people's hearts and minds. He was psychic, just like that. So, he comes back on the scene at 30, and you know people are pissed. They're like, what the fuck is dude doing back here? Now, in the meantime, I got some people I know, hi John, that believes Jesus was poly purebred. I mean, like, goody two-shoes. You know, somebody. And this man led a revolution against the powers that were killing the people at the time. That's what Jesus did. And that's why they decided to put him on move him up to the front of the targeting list. You know, if you're all into these Bible stories, of course, just like now, they're getting ready to have a big census. And if you don't participate, you're getting fined big money. Well, you know, on the good side of it, I say, hey, what a great way to identify what we call sock accounts, fake people, aliases, jackasses. Yeah, hook a census up to that old internet. You'll find out who's real and who's not real quick in this fucked up matrix, right? Our movie's back on. This really beautiful woman's asking Val where he got his blood from, and he's gonna have to tell her he's part Native American too. And she's telling him, dude, how did you become a sellout? And he says, hey, I believed in the system. You don't get it. I was embarrassed of my heritage because people were prejudiced against me. I guess just like Jesus, huh? Right, and Jesus said just what that chick just said. Hit the road, chief. If you're not true blue, get the fuck out of my wigwam. Ain't nothing worse than being lukewarm. Bible talks about that now, too. They got a dream quest going on. We've discussed Jesus. We're good. Everybody's caught up.
Caught up.
Alright, so now he's just had a mystical experience. Let's call it supernatural or super sensible. I like that word. And when the gal told him, blow me sideways, get out of here. Well, when he was looking into, you know, like the mountain range and everything, there was one of those plateau deals, and there was a bunch of warriors that were dancing up there, but they were fading. You know what I mean? So he caught the image. He wondered what he saw. He's having a problem with his faith because, see, like I've shared with you guys, part of the mind control program was getting everybody to believe that you had to separate your personal beliefs and your personal life from your professional job and ethics and what you're paid to do. So you can have a good person. I mean, wanting to do the right thing and be a good citizen, let's say. You know, carry their own weight. Walk tall. And then somebody makes you do something that doesn't really jive with your beliefs. Well, this happens all the damn time. It never stops. And I've been harassed my whole life for not separating those two things. And we talk about it in life charting too. So I'm going to say that that was a pre-programmed, manipulated setup. And of course now there's very few worthwhile jobs. And even if you've got a good paying job, I mean, you're really not doing usually something that would engage physical activity, mental capabilities, and art. Because you really need to combine all those things to have a career. Even it wouldn't matter what career you want to pick. A professional could apply that standard. More guns. I ever mentioned my dad was a cop. Hey, and look, there's isn't that one of them Crosby, Stills, and Nash? I think it is.
All
I wish I
right.
could get the camera doing that.
There we go on that little short. Interestingly enough, at the end of this movie, when they knew they were going to die, I'm talking about the righteous people in this movie, no different than these days. They have their plan. They know that they are going to go to this safe place. The elder had spoken of it. So when they get there, of course the bad guys are ready to shoot them all. And when I say the bad guys, it'd be like every three-letter agency plus a few friends. And so there's different groups and factions, and they've got them surrounded in a circle. And so these guys look at each other like two hangmen hanging on a tree, you know. And poof, just like that, all the great Indian spirits, let's call them, which were really actually living indigenous native people that had lived on that land long before America was America. But anyhow, they're all up on the cliff looking down with their guns and their bows and whatever else they have, right? So, in the end, divine intervention. And that's what this little video was about. So, when I came online 4 years ago, and today's the anniversary of that, believe it or not, it's pretty intense to think that these same concepts still apply 4 years later. And it's gotten deeper, and we've been able to connect things across the board. So it's amazing to me that people that have any kind of faith or belief don't realize that they can manifest reality, and that their thoughts are some kind of wild, magical thing, along with a combination of who you really truly are at your core essence. And now's the time. So I said it was 11:58 when I came online. What am I doing back so quick? The hell. So 11:58, and they suggest it's later than that. You know, at 12 the clock strikes. But talking about life charting, I'll go ahead and run this with it. I'll show you what it is. Here you go.
Is the age 33. And I bet you all can guess why. So, 35 to 40 was always the landmark
Then
in civilization.
this is my life chart that came out of the book,
Even ancient communities,
The Human Life.
where one would be
And the
allowed to
question
be
was, how was I going to help people
because young people
to
aren't
create their own?
they are. Rudolf
And
Steiner
I
explained
figured
that
out the
there was
threefold
some kind of
science fair chart,
an astral influence that played
changed
into
the
that.
art around a bit.
Like, for example,
Just
if you're a young
not the horseshoe,
person,
right?
come up with a great idea or an invention,
This is up to 63,
or a concept, whatever.
and the
you know,
golden years are right here.
it's easier for it to be manipulated. I don't think it was ever an insult to the age of the person.
It'll top out at 63. We can always make a second chart, right? This is about helping Bear right now and helping humanity right now.
I'm a man, some people don't believe was ever a historical figure, whatever, you know, that it happened to him.
before what the community felt like, he would be allowed to speak in public. Now, that's a weird idea, but the more I think about it, it has credence. Because it was like I was telling a client last night, and she's new, and it's very confusing for her to be a part of my world, but she sure does like her hair, and she's curious about me. You know, like I'm entertainment, which I've been entertaining to a lot of people, and I don't have a problem with that, but I will not deal in these super sensible matters as a circus act or as entertainment for people that are bored. Never treat it like it's something that is to be poo-pooed off or feared, because then you're running from your own self, and that sucks too. I never ran from myself. There was nowhere to run to, and I knew that really early on. A lot of talk about religious wars coming. I never thought I'd see the day. But then again, I didn't know they were practicing spellcasting in the churches. What do I know? I guess that's why I never went to church when I was little, huh? I never stepped foot in a church till I was about 11. I mean, it wasn't because I didn't want to. But if your mom and dad don't, you're not. I mean, really? Or are you just walking around acting like you're homeless? You know, get in a basket and put a fucking blanket over your head. Say, hey, let's talk about this. You know? Our movie's back on. That's good.
All right.
Because I don't feel very witty momentarily.
That's the end of this short snippet. So, once again, this is me, Suze, and you can find me at Suze Pratt on YouTube or Suze World Emporium. And I'll say peace out for now, man. Talk soon.